Dangerously Incompetent here with another World of Tanks Tactics guide. In this episode, it's Sidescraping Jim, but not as we know it. I'm driving the T-28 HTC, which is an American Premium Tank Destroyer, Tier 7. It's the reward tank from the second of the campaign missions, so you can all earn this tank if you try hard enough. It's a bit of an oddball tank, and it plays quite similarly to the British tank destroyers, the 82 to 88, that sort of thing. It's slow, it's got no turret, it's got a lot of armour, it's got a flat roof, which artillery loves, but luckily there's no artillery in this game. And its two couplers are its weak spots, so you can see those couplers on the machine gun couplers on either side of the main superstructure. And its big plus point is that it's got a very good gun arc. Not so much in the elevation and derivation, but in the side to side is excellent. Now I'm in a tier 9 battle, and that's bad news when you're in a slow tank, even if you're heavily armoured. This thing has got very thick armour on its lower glacis, on its hull, but it's very flat. You can just see it there. So high penetration tanks can get through that unless you're angling it to the side very sharply. And I'm in a tier 9 battle, which is not good news when I'm so slow. Even though I've got the armour, there are lots of tanks that can drive around me, and lots of tanks that can actually penetrate me on the hull straight through the front. The top of the hull is very, very slopey, as you can see, and the gun mantlet is nice and thick. Now, sidescraping, as I'm sure you all know about. If not, go look up my video on the subject. It's where you run yourself up to a building or a rock or so forth, and then you edge out backwards, showing your side at a very, very shallow angle, like this, just about like that you briefly saw me do, so that you don't expose your front lower glacis. You're only exposing your side at a very shallow angle, so you're hoping for ricochets, and even if they don't ricochet, mostly what they can see is your tracks. So you get a lot of bounces, especially on things like the Tiger 2 or E75, where they've got decentish side armour, and it's all flat and flush, so you're exposing nothing on the side or flat to the enemy. But if you try side scraping with this tank, you totally expose your side the coupler on the side, which is really weak and is very large for a coupler, and people in the know, that's where they're going to shoot you. So side scraping's out. So instead, you have to do what noobs do when they usually come round the corner. They'll stick their front out, their nose out, and because their turret is quite a way behind, they keep on pushing out until they get their gun sights on the enemy. But by that point, they're showing their side armour, and they're showing it quite flat, and so the enemy can just shoot them there and penetrate, no problems. But that's what you do with this tank here. That's the sort of angle you do. Because it's got such a huge gun arc, I can get my gun's sights onto the enemy without exposing my left hand side, and importantly my left hand coupler. My right hand coupler is protected by my superstructure. I'm exposing my front lower glacis, but on this tank it's very heavily armoured and I'm showing it at an angle. So with the HTC, that's how you reverse side scrape round corners. And it works too. Partly because the T28 HTC is such an unusual tank, most people don't know what to do with it. And secondly, because I've been hiding the weak spots and only exposing the heavily armoured at an angle, in this match I bounce more than double my hits, and I'm bouncing it mostly off tier 8 tanks, which is a tier higher, which is good news. As you can see, we've won in the south, but we're not doing so good up here in town in the north. And in fact, without me, they'd have finished off this flank by now, I reckon. There's that T26E4. He has foolishly given me his side like a noob. Let me finish him off. He's got a lot of armour on the front, but he's not using it. So I shoot him inside, lovely. Oh, here comes my nemesis. T54E1. Tier 9. Autoloader. He's tracked me, and he's managed to get my cupola and finished me off. The swine. Just when it was going so gloriously. Oh well, never mind. Did my part. And it's a win.